Good morning from Ohio. We are live from the action in the Women's Pool E Round 6 of play here at the fields at the Lebanon Sports Complex. It is the World Ultimate Club Championships. I'm joined in the booth by the beautiful and most talented Rebecca Thompson. Becky, how are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling fantastic, Hannah. We're going to have a phenomenal game on our hands this morning.
We certainly are. We have the two titans of women's ultimate. We have Revolution coming out of Medellin, Colombia, and we have Mud from Tokyo, Japan. These teams having faced each other 2 times before. Becky, what have been the results from those games?
The first one, I believe Revolution took that game. The second one, however, Mud coming in at the 2017 US Championships. They won the game on Universe Point. This is a rematch of that game for a lot of these Revolution players. They really would like to get some of those points back, I believe. Mud out here to prove that that wasn't a one-time event as well, so they're here to really bring it to these Colombian women as well, and so we're going to have a good matchup here, a good rematch.
We certainly are. The last times these two teams met on the World Ultimate Club Championship stage, as you say, the ladies of Japan came out on top. So, sorry, the Revolution came on top even. So, it will be interesting, as you say, always a difficult one to come out with 1 win per side. Bit of a mental game going on, but we'll see the introductions live here at the fields for both sides right now. And Revolution with their trademark hand-holding line. They will be coming out on offense. So Becky, what can we expect to see from both these teams in the first point?
Well, we've got Colombia starting out on offense here in this point, as you said, Hannah, so we can expect to see them start off with a little bit of patience, working up the field, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big bomb right off the bat as well. They do like to huck it. They've got the legs of Manuela Cardenas down on the line there, and Nina Cartagena. Look for those two to combine as well. On defense, we've got Mud coming down. They like their small ball if they manage to get a turnover. They'll work in really tight, close spaces, and they're happy to throw 100 throws before they get to the end zone.
Yes, those familiar with the women's ultimate scene coming out of Japan will know the quality of their throwing prowess. Definitely the gold of that team. Both sides highly decorated, lots of national representation across the board, as you'd expect to see at this elite level. We'll just count down to get things underway very shortly. So we'll see Suzuki going to be pulling. See a big arcing backhand. And we are underway here in this women's match. Torres swings it across far side. See a 4-person handler set. Cardenas near sideline. Getting things moving, looking very comfortable right now. Clearly not coming out nervous, Becky.
No, and I'm not surprised at all, Hannah, to see these women immediately running this game with confidence here.
Ospina far side. Handler's just really happy to just work it between each other. Nice and patient and calm. Making very good yards and movement, and there's some separation. A very dangerous score. First point on the board, nice and easy and smooth from Revolution of Colombia.
Yeah, right away, Hannah, we're seeing Nina Cartagena combine for the score with Manuela Cardenas there. But we're also seeing their handler sets of Weaver, Ospina, Torres calmly work the disc up the field. Absolutely no fear on that point for them.
We'll see that score once more. Lovely swinging. 4 players across the field and a snag out of the sky. Nice little tap of the disc there from Cardenas. Like a little tambourine celebration.
You'll see her do that quite often in this game, Hannah.
So this game likely to be a battle of 2 very, very efficient offenses. Talking to Mud before the game, they're certainly going to be looking to use their throwing abilities, as we were talking about earlier. Their inside breaks, so the backhands and the forehands, they do have both.
Yeah, and they really do like those little inside-out flicks as well, the little inside-out backhands, you know, they like the tight spaces. So I think we're going to see a lot of them working it up the field here, but not being afraid to throw through really small, narrow gaps as well.
And so as the pull from Mosquera goes up, will be excellent technique there, right towards the back end of the end zone, and sat for days. Opportunity for Revolution to put on their defense immediately as we see big force of Misha Phillips with her lovely pink ponytail matching the very visible shirts this morning. Definitely a sight for sore eyes, those shirts with the gold numbers on the back as the disc goes up. It's a big one. Oh, a huge bid, but unfortunately sails out of contention. Revolution immediately gets it back in play. Oh, not the nicest throw, but well received. Excellent handler marking here from Mudd. But eventually finds the release. Swinging. There's a deep shot from Mosquera. Off she goes and just shy. Going to find a handler reset and immediately go for it. Great give and go from Revolution, and that is the first break of this game, Becky.
Yeah, what a great break there from Revolution. You know, they're the kind of team, and we've seen this before, they are going to capitalize when the disc is given back to them. Valeria Cardenas with a huge hook to Mosquera there. We're going to see that a lot in this game.
We certainly are. Mosquera, so we're finding out a little bit earlier before this game, Becky. Started running track for her region. She's that fast.
She started running track after just wanting to go out and train for Worlds, for this tournament, to try and get a little bit faster. Ended up being scouted by a regional trainer as well. Asked her if she wanted to compete in the regional championships. She went out and beat everybody.
And by a considerable margin, I hear. So fantastic to see her using that speed in this game already. So Revolution up one break. A little bit of an errant pass for the Mudd side. Unfortunately, Tamura not able to get her hands around it. Great bid though.
Yeah, and Hannah, I'm a little bit surprised to see them opting for that huck right off the bat as well from the Japanese. It's not something we see that often, so maybe a little bit of defensive pressure from the Colombians causing them to make a decision and causing the throw not to be quite on target as well.
Well, coming into this tournament, certainly Revolution were one of the favoured teams to go take the title. So maybe Mudd feeling a little bit intimidated perhaps, a bit nervous, not taking the options that they usually would, but we'll get back in play now. Takarua on the disc. Finds Shimada. Play very clustered towards this near side of the field right now. We do see a good swing using the width. A little bit static here from Mudd, Becky.
Yeah, a little bit. They're struggling to get themselves moving upfield right now, Hannah.
No doubt that will be the tight defense. And there we see those little tight spaces. Great separation, far sideline. Oh, and that's a lovely score for the number 64, Yuko Suzuki.
And now that was an incredible throw, Hannah. Absolutely into space, had the time to run onto it, and Suzuki made that bid look absolutely effortless.
And we'll see the setup there, the power position by virtue of those inside breaks that we were talking about, Becky. Nearly a little bit of help defense from Akina Young. But what a take that was.
Yeah, that was an absolutely wonderful play to watch. And that is the way that those tight little spaces, those little IO throws, get them into that opportunity to then take that deep shot as well.
So looking at the earlier results of both of these teams, certainly it's been success all day yesterday. 2 wins apiece. But currently in the standings in terms of where you find them on the scheduling, because it is currently ranked in terms of points difference, Mudd are actually sitting pretty at the top spot. But seeding coming in, obviously Revolution, as we say, favoured to take the overall top spot in this tournament, sitting pretty at the top of the pool and overall 5th seed, whereas Mudd certainly shouldn't be expected to win this game. We say we've met before, and obviously there's been upsets quite recently, but sitting at 20th seed, the ladies of Mudd. So now Revolution with their chance to answer Mudd's offensive hold. Again, we're seeing them just run straight through. Strip call, but excellent defense there from Suganoma. Lovely little pop pass, working it really well. Ospina is going to put it up to the streaking form of Manuela Cardenas, and that connection pays off once more.
Yeah, we've seen Manuela Cardenas, both points she's been on. She's coming down with the goals. Not afraid to take control on that point in the backfield as well, going every other throw before streaking to the end zone.
And the difference there, of course, being that Revolution just don't look like really they're playing against any defense right now. It looks almost like they're running through a sort of a drill. They're making lots of passes, but they just look so calm.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised to see that either, Hannah. That very much is their style. That is their demeanor. They know how to play their game, and they don't worry about what the opponent is doing on the field.
So before that point, Becky, I was sort of rambling on a little bit about how Mud are quite a low seed for this tournament, considering their prowess. You know, they were very much in contention back in Lecco in 2014. So Becky, what's been happening on the domestic scene in Japan?
Well, so recently Mud has come out here in the third seeded spot out of the Japanese teams, but they recently did beat both of those teams seated ahead of them. They beat Uno and Huck at the recent Queen's Cup, where they also beat Ellipsis on Universe Point to win that tournament. That was June 10th, so that's only about 5 or 6 weeks ago. So they may be peaking a bit later in the season from when they qualified for this tournament.
Well, we'll hope to see them play their best ultimate here in this live stream game this morning. Again, things looking a little bit tentative. Not that much movement. We've seen a round break. And inside, there we go. And we see exactly the same player as last time too. The same player as well. Pressure from Phillips, but that's an excellent take. Knocking on the doorstep now. Players streaming forward. Not much in the way of a reset. There we go. Finally finds one. Everybody in the end zone looking for the score. Oh, and she finds it in the hands of the number 64, Yuko Suzuki. Is having a heck of a game this morning.
Yeah, what a great grab. We're going to see Suzuki do that all day. We've seen her 2 bids on that point alone, 1 bid earlier on. What an incredible player we're watching, Hannah.
And that is 3-2, Colombia to Japan.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
A smattering of fans with us live this morning on the field here, Becky.
Yeah, there are a couple hanging around here. It's an early morning game, so I expect to see more roll in as this game continues as well, Hannah.
And so, Japan with an interesting looking marking set, trying to slow down the Colombian offense. As we see them once again go to work very fast. Rapid attack, great movement on the disc. Working it far side. Spina into Weaver. And now more of a match defense from Mud. Cardenas. Oh, I love that turn and pop. That's beautiful. Great adjustment. Oh, and a bladey backhand, but just sails over the head of the unexpected Madeline Frey.
Yeah, and this is the first turnover we've actually had, although it does look like a foul call. My point there being that this is the first turnover otherwise in terms of Colombia has not turned over the disc on their offensive line. So a foul call, we're going to have a quick discussion Game advisors just listening in.
And on the game advisory crew today, we do have the wonderful Benji Hayward and Cici Zhang. Very lucky to have them with us, able to offer a neutral perspective.
Yeah, always nice to have the game advisors involved. Their role is really just to listen, tell the players what they saw, give their advice on what the call should be, but the players are the ones who still make the final call here.
Certainly, by looking at the flight path of that rather blady backhand, I would say it's probably not the throw she meant to throw, so uncontested foul it is. And we'll get this back in play. Either way, I'm not sure Madeline Frey was expecting that one.
No, I agree. I think that disc just popped up and she just lost it a little bit in the air above her head there.
And so, red zone opportunity. Torres will have the disc back. Not always the easiest place to score from, being right on the line of the end zone. And so, players just discussing where they're going to be starting from. It's obviously foul being a stoppage of play. Nice sharp backhand fake there. Going to look to reset. Ospina. Good work from the handlers. Finds. Oh! Now that is a sneaky, sneaky little score there, Becky. That was a bit dirty, if you ask me.
I think that's the least clean offense we've seen here from Revolution as well. Bailing out their teammates, though. I don't know how she came out with that one, Hannah.
Indeed, it wasn't the prettiest, but ultimately it was effective. Good patience from the handlers, and then it's surprising to see that sort of, you know, just, I don't know, it was very interesting, but great heads-up play to attack that with two defenders diving in front of you. Great grab.
Yeah, and unfortunate for you seeing the number 64 shirt of Suzuki there, smiling and laughing that she couldn't quite get to that one. A little bit of congratulation there for the Columbia women as well.
But Londoño makes no mistakes and has a little giggle. I enjoyed the little view there we saw of her giggling at her teammate, being like, what on earth was that, mate? I don't even know. So that is 4-2 to Revolution. Mud's O-line will now come up to try and put theirs in. What are you thinking right now, Becky, if you're on the Mud line?
If I'm on the Mud line, I think that they got broken early on in that second point of the game. Their offensive line was broken, but since then they've managed to come out with two very strong points with some athletic plays, some great throws. So I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing. They know that they're still in this.
They certainly are. Still all much to play for. As we see again, the number 64 of Suzuki. I feel like we're going to be saying that name rather a lot, Becky. Going deep, but not quite as deep as before. Shimada finds the near sideline. A great separation into the space. Is she going to be swinging? Yes. A lovely series of cuts. And another pop into the middle. It'll be reeled in by Shimada, and that is a goal for Japan. Looking much smoother there, Becky.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what I was trying to say there with the confidence that they're bringing to this game. They knew exactly how to execute that point. They're cutting for each other, and they're trusting their teammates as well, Hannah.
We'll just get another look at that score into the center of the end zone. Really liked the movement before that pass, the really good swinging. Lovely to see.
Yeah, they're using the full width of the field, which is allowing them to find these little break opportunities into the end zone as well. We've seen it twice now on some of these points, so bringing this game back within 1 point here.
So we'll see another O-line from Revolution. To say lots of big names on the field as we have a lovely shot of Manuela Cardenas. Tell us about these name tags I'm seeing on the front of the shirts, Becky. What are those all about?
So right before the start of this game, the two teams lined up facing each other, and they wrote name tags on each other's jerseys on little pieces of stickers so that they could communicate with each other on the field. The Colombians wrote their names in Spanish for the Japanese women. The Japanese wrote the Colombians' names in Japanese so they'd be able to communicate on the field. It's a very, very cool gesture, in my opinion.
That is an excellent gesture indeed, Becky. Really big fan of that. So, Revolution getting things underway again. Everyone really clustered down around the disc right now, but they start to spread it out. Grab by Cardenas. Cartagena. Far side. Torres. Good movement. Mud's defense here doing a little bit of a better job of slowing things down, I think. Ospina. Cardenas. Popping it across. A little bit of a home goal. Thinks about the swing. All the way over, but a pick's going to be called.
Yeah, she was very open there, Hannah.
So much better defense from Japan, Becky.
Yeah, I think Japan is starting to figure out this movement that the Colombians are giving, and maybe just taking a point or two at the start to figure that out. Now they've made some adjustments.
Indeed, so a vertical stack in the end zone. Ospina comes back out. Fakes the inside backhand. Oh, and a stumble on the mark causes a fantastic break opportunity, and that is exploited wonderfully.
Yeah, great job there by Revolution to change their game plan a little bit. The Japanese are really trying to take away those out opportunities, not letting them look for the deep strikes at all. So working those unders and good patience to work it all the way up the field.
And there we see lethal fake. Tries all she can on the D, but unfortunately opens up the opportunity for the score immediately to Madeline Frey. So another clean offensive hold.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what else the Japanese can do on defense. I don't think that there's any wind happening right now, so there's not really any zone opportunities. So I think continuing to force them under, but they're really going to have to generate some turns at some point. The offensive line here for Colombia yet to turn over the disc.
Indeed, as we see only one errant pass, and that was off the back of a foul. So it's different. Like you say, you have to do something to generate a turn. Revolution are not the kind of team that are going to give you the disc. Really, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see them have a perfect O-line hold.
Absolutely.
But we'll see. We'll see what Mud can throw into the mixer. See if they can throw some Mud. So we saw a little shot there. Mud's coach not able to attend this tournament because she is pregnant. So welcome if you are on the live stream with us. I'm sure she is. But they've had a little clothing figure to represent her today. So Mud with fullback. Opening up the deep space once again. As a bit of a blader, not really in the space I think she wanted to, sails over the head of Shiori Ogawa.
Yeah, Ogawa just losing that one over her head, and she's a player who we should watch out for in this game as well, Hannah. 2016 All-Star Tour on the 2018 Asia Oceanic Tour. Won't be surprised to see her come down with that next time.
Yes, a highly decorated player. And so Revolution's D-line with another chance for a break in this game. And a big hut's going to go up to Mosquera. She's got double coverage, but she's going to take that with her height and speed. That's a great attack there. Finds Phillips. He's going to holster it. Good resetting around the back. Pick call. I enjoyed seeing Lillian Weaver there going for the super dump throw. Just getting well out of play, allowing the other 6 players on her team the space to make plays upfield. Mosquera. She's going to pop it up. Ooh, a little bit of a risky shot there. A defender able to make a bid, but just close enough. So that is a break of score there, Becky. And that'll be 6-3 to Japan, to Colombia. We'll be back after this.
If you want to be a high performer, eat like one. Start with a balanced diet and drink plenty of water. Good nutrition is one of the best ways to boost your mental and your physical health.
Come back to the action here in round 6 at the Lebanon Ohio Sports Complex. We are looking at the Pool E play. We have Revolution of Colombia and Mud of Tokyo, Japan. Currently 2 breaks to Revolution. Becky, what's been going on?
Well, we've seen Revolution come out here with a very clean offense. They haven't turned the disc over on their offensive line yet, and when their defense has managed to get the disc, they also have not generated a single turnover. So an absolutely perfect game so far here from Columbia. Mud needs to generate some defense in order to change this game.
And talking about perfect, how perfect was that pull deep into the back corner of the end zone? Mosquera showing she's got the puts as well as the speed. And so disc goes up the line and just sails past the fingertips of Asako Takarura. A little bit of a call, but easily discussed and attracted. And so, again, we see another opportunity. See if they can make it perfect again, Becky. We see some loving swinging. Has a look up field, but doesn't like any of the options she sees, does Mosquera. Seems to be good movement. And there we see a big deep shot to Misha Phillips. What a play, Becky.
What an incredible inside-out flick huck there from Valeria Cardenas. Absolutely dominant thrower. We've seen her throw 3 huge hucks as well. And there we have it again. The defensive line here for Columbia, perfect once they get the disc in their hands.
Indeed, the other of the Cardenas sisters, obviously playing on different lines, spreading that talent across.
Yeah, you'll often see Manuela on the offensive line. She likes to go 1 and 2 with those little give and goes and then strike to the end zone, whereas Valeria here taking control, taking a second, and she's always going to look for that deep shot. What a beautiful throw. Well read there by Phillips as well.
Indeed. And Phillips obviously with an excellent height advantage, well exploited. Nozomi Shibo not with really much of a look at that at all. So that is 2 breaks in a row. We are now 7-3 in this Pool E match. Becky, what do you like to see from Mud in the next point?
Well, I think Mud needs to keep playing their offense that they know they can generate. We've seen Suzuki absolutely dominate on the points she's been on. They've played her on several points in a row, so maybe she needs a little bit of a rest. They maybe need to open up their lines. Remember that they know how to play this game, but what it's going to come down to, Hannah, is defense. Right now, the Mud women can't generate a single turnover from these Colombian women, and that is the difference maker in this game.
I think you are quite correct there, Becky. It's also the interesting thing of obviously D-lines making big plays can fire up an offense and give them a bit more confidence back. Like if we saw perhaps a layout bid or something like that, they have definitely been going for them and getting very close to those attempts, but maybe coming up with one of those, but give them the confidence to say, no, we can do this. We are Mud. We've beaten this team before, and we can do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Give them a little bit of momentum, a little bit of fire going into the further points of this game.
I'm all about a layout block to give someone fire in the belly, you know? So we'll see if Mud can do exactly that, but with some scintillating offense. Unforced error in the last point, quickly taken advantage of by Revolution. And the pull's going to go up with a spin turn. Not quite as deep as the ones from Mosquera, but reaches the end zone nonetheless. And here we are. Oh, I was just going to say excellent movement, but an errant throw sails past Shimada. And Revolution with yet another opportunity to eke out their lead, as that's a bit of a leading pass for sure. Very well received by Cartagena, but then is that a block there, Becky?
That is the first D we have actually seen here from Mud, Hannah.
Well, there we go. Hopefully that puts a little bit more energy in the Mud's offense. Oh, fakes the hammer, yes please. But unfortunately not quite executed well. Difficult to throw with the height mismatch.
Yeah, and Revolution coming down in a zone set there, I think that completely threw off Mud.
And a timeout call. I think that's wise from Revolution.
Yeah, they know they have an opportunity to take half here. Interesting to see, they've only generated 1 turnover. It's not that long of a point. They're already calling a timeout. They don't want to generate any more turnovers. That's not their style of game, Hannah.
Well, as we say, that's the first error we've seen from Revolution. So perhaps taking a pause, putting things back together. And so we saw a brief shot earlier of the coach figure on the far sideline. Becky, so yeah, I kind of rushed through it. Let's have a little look at this bad boy. I love the fact that reading through all the rosters, Mud was saying how much they love each other, and that says love to me over there.
I absolutely agree. Their coach couldn't be here, was unable to travel, unfortunately, and this team has come together to put together this beautiful coach figure as well. Great to have that representation. I hope she's watching at home right now and knows that she is well loved here.
Well, as I said earlier, I'm sure she is. I'm completely positive she'll be tuning in. I'm not sure what the time difference is over in Tokyo, but be delighted, I'm sure, to see the rest of her team on this stage. Perhaps, you know, her presence is sorely missed, but we'll come back and play. Revolution's coach there, Mauricio Moore, and that's a one-pass score. Nice and simple. Textbook stuff.
Absolutely. We see Torres with the disc in her hands, very calm. Yina Cartagena isolated in the end zone there. She is going to win that battle, I think, almost every single time, Hannah.
Such an explosive player, and that is half. So, Revolution 8, Mud 3. We'll be back after this.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome,
regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds.
And even defy gravity.
a place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh.
Where we learn to trust.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
A place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play Ultimate, we live Ultimate.
Welcome back to halftime. Here in this game we have Revolution from Colombia and Mud of Japan. I'm Hannah Pendlebury, joined in the booth today by Becky Thompson. And it's not been the game we perhaps expected, Becky. It's been all Revolution.
Yeah, the last time these two teams played each other, Mud managed to come out top with a universe point win, but a completely different story here today. Revolution absolutely valuing the disc, not willing to release it into any unwanted space. They're taking care of it, and they've managed to have perfect points every single offensive point they've been on the field.
Yeah, they've been looking absolutely relentless. Their movement is so lethal in this game. So talking a little bit more about the domestic scene over in Colombia, tell us more about that.
Colombia is an incredible place for women's ultimate specifically right now. You see Coach Mauricio Moore down there talking to his team. He went back. He played for Sockeye in the States back in the early 2000s, went back to Colombia, and has helped grow this program that we are now seeing 3 Colombian women's teams here now at the World Ultimate Club Championships. We're seeing them upset top teams that they may not have beaten, like Aerosol beating Traffic yesterday. And they have access to awesome training and facilities and funding as well from the government. They're able to have local tournaments like TEP where teams come from around the world. The government helps provide the funding for that tournament as well, so it really gives them a unique opportunity to just focus on playing.
Indeed, and that is what they do ever so well. I love the fact that they aim for national representation as kind of one of their big things, and their club scene in the local area in Medellin. It's just so good. They have 150 players and a huge youth scene for just one town. That's so impressive. But enough about that. We will be back after this short break. Welcome back to the WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships. We are bringing you the action from the women's division in Pool E with Mud of Tokyo, Japan, and Revolution of Medellin, Colombia. Becky, talk us through the side of how Mud's offense has been working this morning.
So Mud's offense has been very good at working into small spaces still. They've gone for some huge big throws, looking specifically for the 64 shirt of Yuko Suzuki. She's been very dominant as well, but they haven't managed to get those necessary turnovers on defense. Unfortunately, they have turned over the disc 5 points on their offensive line as well. Not quite getting into the right zone that they want to be in for this game right now, Hannah.
Indeed, and we've just seen 3 breaks of score from Revolution to take the half. It's going to be difficult coming out into the second half of this game. I think you just got to take it and say, okay, 0-0, game to 1. First half's over, let's go out and show what we can do in the second half. I do think, though, Becky, perhaps the margin between these two in the terms of the scoreline now, I would be surprised to see this one not go in favor of the Colombian side.
Yeah, you see both teams in their huddles looking relaxed. Revolution just enjoying themselves, getting pumped up for the second half. Same with Mud, they look focused, they're smiling, they're still enjoying this game, and I think that's a really important thing going forward into the second half, not getting down on themselves. They don't look frustrated. Good opportunity here to make a comeback.
I'll certainly sneak a few more onto the board, perhaps get a few breaks of their own is what I'd like to see. And you say, not getting hard on themselves. I think, in this position, Mud are considered to be the underdogs in this game. And so it's very easy for them to kind of, have that mental attitude and keep the positive spirit as we're used to seeing from these Japanese sides. So as the players will finish up their huddles, we'll be back after this.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
No kid should have an overuse injury. Limit young ones to 1 sport per season, save sport specialization for later, and cross-train with your kids. Parents and kids will both benefit.
Welcome back to this women's game. We are about to see the second half of play for Revolution Mud. Revolution definitely looking the dominant force right now, as we'll see Misha Phillips get ready to take the pull. Of course, they'll be starting with a disc on defense. So Mud with an opportunity to just hold an offensive point, try and eat their way into the mountain of difference in the scoreline right now. And so, getting things in action. Tamura. Frantic handler cutting, but no real options. Finally finds a pop release. Again, this smothering from the Revolution defense is just completely shutting down Mud's options, Becky.
Yeah, and I find it interesting as well, Hannah. They're taking away all of the under opportunities. They're not worrying too much if they do go deep, saying, hey, if you want to throw that deep, good for you, we'll let you go for that. They're taking away these unders, and especially the resets. So Mud here not having any options for that throw.
Perhaps, Becky, that's why we saw some deep shots from earlier on. Certainly Suzuki having an excellent game thus far, bringing those down, but they have been misfiring them too. I remember the one that went over the back of the head of Shori Ogawa.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like a foul discussion here on the mark as well. So translator, I think, for Japan, just running onto the field. A little bit of a language barrier between these two teams as well here, Hannah.
Indeed, always an issue at these international tournaments, but very well handled. Obviously a key factor of spirit of the game coming into play. But we'll just wait for the players to discuss this with the help of Susie Zhang, who plays her ultimate in Australia, but she's actually from New Zealand, Becky. I found out earlier this morning.
Well then, jumping ship, is she?
Well, we do see a lot of players move around from those two great ultimate nations. But call is resolved, and it will be uncontested. Is going to come back in on 0. But again, great defensive coverage from the Revolution handler marks. Really struggling to find much flow to penetrate the upfield. There we go, see a lovely inside. Oh, doesn't like the huck. Gestures for all of the players to come under as everyone's deep in a soaring pink shirt. Now Mud making great strides down the pitch. They're going to have to keep the disc moving, which they are. This is much better flow from the ladies in blue. Oh, and there we see the layout become good. What a play that was.
Incredible play by the Revolution player there. That's the athleticism that we've been waiting to see in this game, Hannah.
Yeah, Forero going to ground and coming up with the goods. Good handler mark. But players with no real pressure right now. Mud clearly worried about the deep shots for this D-line. And with the likes of Phillips, it's not surprising. Lovely passes near side, looking very slick. Forero centers to Phillips. And she'll swing across. I love the expansiveness of this offense right now. Oh, and an over the top, using the height and reach of Phillips. And she's gonna pop it in, but it's gonna be bobbled. Oh, that's a costly error there.
Yeah, and the first true drop we've seen as well from this Colombian offense. It's one thing that they definitely do not do. That disc usually sticks to their hands absolutely like glue.
Indeed, and pops out of the begloved hand. Even that extra bit of rubber couldn't save her. As we'll see a very clustered stack, that far side from Mud. It's complementing Revolution's expansive play. Becky, that is very, very, very player heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. They like those tight spaces for sure, but I think that's playing to Revolution's defensive style right now. They are taking away those resets, and it's not allowing Mud to get into those tight spaces that they normally like to be in.
That's exactly what you would expect, though, from Colombia. At this elite level, these teams will no doubt have spent a lot of time watching tape, watching back their own games against each other, and figuring those things out. And there we see the inside. Not much in the way of upfield. Certainly not getting those power positions. Oh, nearly a backup there. Oh, that was a heart and throat moment there, Becky.
Yeah, absolutely. Revolution with another chance here now.
Indeed, and Misha Phillips with that iconic pink ponytail. Good swinging, again using the full width of the pitch. But their speed allowing them such separation from the defenders. It really seems, Becky, like they're just letting Colombia have it round the back, trying to maybe make them throw passes, hoping they'll make an error, but I doubt they'll see one. Tight mark on Phillips. And she's going to have to put it up. Oh, and there we see Mud generate a defensive block. That is great stuff.
That's the defense we've needed to see from them throughout this game, and it's great to see their offensive line generating that defense as well here, Hannah.
Again, we're seeing that very tight stack. Far side, maybe hoping to put some discs out into space. Nice little sit catch there from Tamura. Oh, that's a lovely fake off to find that inside channel again that they favor so very much.
It looks like just a pick called upfield, but the disc wasn't affected by the pick, so the disc will stay with Suzuki right now.
Certainly will, and we'll see players in the back of the stack discussing. And the translator's going to jog onto the field to assist her teammate in the understanding.
I think Mud here, Hannah, is really starting to sort out what Revolution is looking for as well. I kind of like the idea that they're letting them swing it back and forth, but they're taking away any option of throwing it into the end zone right now as well. I really think this is working for them.
Indeed, and that tight mark on Misha Phillips on that far sideline was phenomenal. Really shutting down her options, putting the pressure on, making her have to throw that very long disc to pretty much nobody in the end zone. And that is the second unforced error we've seen coming out of Revolution. But still Mud looking at a very large hill to climb indeed. But they're going to go off to the races, and that is a beautiful put. Phillips chasing down, she stumbles, and it's a layout grab in the end zone for Shiori Ogawa.
It's an incredible grab by Ogawa there, and that's the play we've been waiting to see from her, Hannah. Absolutely phenomenal player with tremendous Worlds experience for such a young age. She played U24s only this year in Perth, but she's played World Games for Team Japan. She's been all over the place. What an incredible grab. See it again here. Just tracking the disc as it's flying away from her.
And you can see why she takes the mark of Misha Phillips. Misha with actually a pretty big connection to the Japanese women's scene. Lots of friends. But look at that rundown. And that is why they are choosing that, what I think is quite an, well, I would say is an uncomfortable, short, tight stack. Vertical on the far side of the field, but it opens up that space.
Absolutely, able to get it over to the near side of the field and nobody else around to challenge, to help that second help defense. No chance for that. Just the entire field for Ogawa to run onto that disc, and what a phenomenal grab we just saw.
So, Revolution 8, Mud 4. That's the first point out of half. Bit of a scrappy one in the end. Not seeing quite the clean conversions from the D-line when they generated those turns, but that is a much needed offensive hold coming into this second half for Mud.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think important to note as well that Revolution opened up their defensive line a little bit there as well, got a few other players in. So maybe some good for them to get touches as well going into later stages of this tournament.
Exactly, when you do have that cushion, it allows you to give opportunities, and we'll see another unforced error, but this time from the O-line.
That is the first unforced error we have seen from the Revolution O-line here today.
Indeed it is, but it's matched, unfortunately, by another unforced error from Mud. Ospina with the disc. Centers nicely. Londo. Finds Cardenas. Looking a lot more static now, this Revolution offense. But the familiar faces around the back, keeping things flowing now. Oh, and that's a beautiful backhand rolling put from the hand of Cartagena.
And there we see Mud trying to institute the same defense that their offensive line just put on. Let them move it around, swing it around, and take away those options to the end zone. You can't stop an incredible thrower like Cartagena, though, when she's able to put that around backhand into the space, into the end zone.
And that is a money throw. Sinks in perfectly into the open hands of Escobar. It's a shame, though, to see Mud. This is the difference, really. When there is a turnover in terms of Mud's O-line, the D-line for Revolution, up until that last point, had been so lethal in conversion rates. But we finally see an unforced error from Revolution's O-line, and Mud's D-line just almost caught by surprise in immediately responding with an unforced error of their own.
Yeah, it was the first opportunity we've had actually to see the Mud defensive line in action. And I agree with you, Hannah. I think maybe a little bit of surprise, a little bit of, oh, we have to do something now. We're not quite sure what to do with our unit here as well. And maybe need to build a little bit of chemistry and a little bit of confidence for that defensive line.
So both teams settling into the second half of this women's match. Both looking a bit, not quite as clean as we saw from the beginning. So I think my highlight of this second half has got to be that score from Shiori Ogawa. As we'll see another big pull from the hand of Mosquera. Not going to go quite so deep this time, but it's going to sit for a long. while, allowing Revolution to come and put kind of almost like poaching in the middle of the lane. But mostly pure match defense by the looks of it, taking away those unders still, Becky, as you pointed out earlier. Moving it nicely around the back now, finding a bit more space. Oh, and those inside breaks are so valuable for this Mud side. And around backhand there, though. And a big put set up. Can Mosquera close it out? Yes, she can. Beautiful play. Ogawa did everything she could there, but Mosquera was just too fast.
That really is a great matchup between Mosquera and Ogawa, too. I'm really happy to see them going head-to-head there. And Mosquera just getting a finger to it before Ogawa could make that bid.
I think she just had the advantage by virtue of her stature and being on defense. Didn't have to worry about her feet, just able to go for it full throttle. And an injury will be called. And that is one of the Revolution players coming off on the sideline. Can't quite catch the number. But hopefully she will be all right and return to the field. Though Revolution have brought a mighty size roster here, Becky. Plenty of depth too, so I'm sure their D-line will have a capable replacement as we get back in play. Oh, big attack there from Cartagena, who's going to put up a huge bit. Again, double coverage on Mosquera, and the defenders are going to read it a little better this time.
I think Cartagena just getting a little bit excited to see the size of Mosquera going deep, but she had double coverage there as well, so I'm not quite sure about that decision.
Well, it worked for them last time. That's the thing about high advantage in Ultimate Frisbee, especially with big hucks, they're going to sit. But a great read from the defense. As Mud now back on the charge, finding those inside spaces they like so much. Oh, that's a lovely roll curve. Mosquera not able to bring it in, but puts enough pressure on to spook the hand of Shiori Ogawa. Excellent work from her. And a timeout called. Once again, a bit of a scrappy point. Revolution decides to have a little think.
Yeah, we've seen the second half of this game take a different tune, a different type of story being told here. A lot more turnovers are being generated by both teams, and we're seeing them really have to grind out these points, unlike the easy offense that Revolution was playing early in the first half.
And so 9-4, still the scoreline. As you said, the beginning of this game, Becky, very, very different to what we're currently seeing. Much more effective offense from Revolution of Colombia. And I'm liking seeing Japan, though, come into their own a little bit more. It's still not looking as perfect as it needs to come back into this match in any way, shape or form. But it's lovely to see them putting those players in the power positions by virtue of those inside flicks.
Yeah, absolutely. They started to get their offense tuned up. They're starting to hit the throws that we know that they want to make. And now that's allowing them to have the confidence to say, we just have to take a moment to be patient. Whereas I think at the start of the game, they were rushing a few of those options. They were forcing a few of those throws, trying to hit the throws that they wanted that weren't working for them. So it's great to see that working now.
And so timeout will be over. We'll get back in play. Cartagena on the disc. And a side stack now from Revolution. And the Mud defenders will play a loose, poaching kind of defense, helping each other out. Swung around the back. Good work up that line. Power position potentially, but not really much cutting upfield. Revolution will have to swing once more. Mosquera on the near side with just no mark. They're happy to let her go under all day, every day, rather than into the deep space. And a big huck's going to go up. Ogawa has a look at it, but knows Mosquera has position. Oh, and that is an easy pass into the end zone. Set play generates the score, Becky.
Yeah, I think that's the huck that Yina Cartagena was trying to go for before with Mosquera that trailed off to the end. This one, more of a laser, knowing, and we're going to see it again here, that Mosquera has the ability to not only use her height, but she read that disc better than the defenders in that space as well.
And I love the release point of that huck as well, very low. So that is another point for Revolution's D-line. Score is now 10-4 in this match. We'll be back after this.
Do you want to avoid overuse injuries? Cross-train. Get your exercise routine out of a routine and mix it up with a variety of activities. Your muscles, tendons, and joints will thank you later.
Welcome one and all to this Women's Pool E match. We are in round 6 of play here at the Lebanon, Ohio Sports Complex as we see the ladies of Mud from Japan taking on Revolution from Colombia. And so we've just seen a break of score this second half, the first break. But Mud now with their opportunity for an offensive hold, a spin move up the line from the 22 shirt. Doesn't like her options upfield though. Finds Suzuki again. She's dominating that far sideline. Pops it up, willing to just jam it up. They're gonna need to perhaps swing the disc, change the angle of attack a bit more. That's a lovely bit of handler movement. But things now starting to look a little bit static as Revolution play defense in the red zone. Confidence is nice to see from Mud right now. Certainly very different from the way they were playing earlier on in this game. And there we go. Pops it into the end zone. Number 23 with the score. And that is beautiful work, Becky.
Yeah, an incredible offensive point there from Mud. That's the kind of offense we were seeing from them early in the first half that they haven't managed to generate in the second half yet. Very clean, great movement, using the width of the field once again until they had that wide open opportunity in the end zone.
And there we see, 22 shirt, Saki Sugunama with the score. And have another look at that. 21-22 in number order. But I just really liked how much we're seeing to see Mud's confidence building in this game, Becky.
Yeah, absolutely. They started to figure it out in the second half. I think also knowing that they finally started to generate some turns on Revolution's offense, they are starting to play with a little bit more confidence, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them at least get a couple breaks back here still in this game, Hannah.
Well, we were talking about it earlier, Becky. Defensive lines firing up offensive lines, giving them that opportunity to say, no, we can generate turnovers, we can threaten to perhaps get a break, as we'll see a lovely shot there of Suzuki. She's been having a wonderful game here on these fields. First game of the day for both of these teams after 2 successes each yesterday. So we'll see Revolution's O-line. Oh, that is a zipper of a flick put down the far side. Big fan of that. Great movement. Cardenas is going to put it up. It's going to hang, and there's going to be a defender under it, but she goes up too early. Great read from Revolution there into the hands of Madeline Frey.
Absolutely a great read, but a little bit of a dangerous throw there as well from Manuela Cardenas into traffic, which is not something we're used to seeing from this Revolution offensive line. Credit to them, it worked out, but I think Mud is going to be happy knowing that that wasn't an 100% throw.
Indeed. 17, Emiri Minagishi goes up early, but just a little bit too early. Great read from Frey there. One of the non-local players on the Colombian side.
Yeah, Frey coming out of the States. She's been playing with this Revolution team for quite some time now. Spent some time in Colombia and I believe became quite good friends with these players as well. Kind of get the sense that once you start playing with Revolution, how could you ever stop, Hannah?
Indeed, and their kit is just phenomenal. I mean, if only for the stash alone. Pink shirts, gold numbers, I mean, they're not the easiest to read for us, Becky, but I can't really criticize the look, because it is fantastic.
Fantastic look. Unfortunately, the gold number is just a little bit reflective in the sunlight for us.
Yeah. But hey ho, thankfully plenty of faces we already know from their national representation and their fan bases. We see there Mosquera, as I say, one of the fiercest defenders on the Revolution side. Big pulls and hot speed. But Mud now back in play. Nice separation on the sideline. Fakes the big huck from the power position. But Mud choosing not to swing, unusual, but finds the inside that they do love so dearly. Suzuki is going to clear it, but it's going to clear her. Gets away from the defender, but unfortunately miscue on that throw, Becky.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate miscommunication there, because Suzuki managed to get herself with yards of space open in front of her. They worked that tight space once again to the beautiful open huck, just overthrown there.
Mud's offense looking more confident, but unfortunately not quite well executed enough, as we see a big flick put that'll be batted away. Hasty throw there from Flores. And so Mud with another opportunity, a layout bid, but doesn't manage to redeem the throw. Shimada doing everything she can. Oh, and the disc pops out of the face there. That's an unpleasant drop. But Mud opportunity, short field, perhaps not working necessarily in their favor, because they do like to put players in lots of space to run down these discs. Finds that inside channel that they dearly love and pops it in. There we go, no mistakes. Shimada reels in the score.
Yeah, and a huge flying pink shirt there once again, as we know they love to go for those layout Ds. But Mud just showing their prowess here as well in their offensive line, as they looked for the 100% options, and we're going to see a replay of it here. Shooting for those inside throws again. Gives them this opportunity to hit the break side every single time.
And we can see why they do favor those so much. So very effective, as you say, Becky. 39 minutes left in this match. Revolution leading the charge with their score of 11 versus Mud's 6. Second half's been very different story. We've only seen that one break, but of course the difference maker, the end of that first half, Becky.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, Mud is going to have to really work if they want to climb themselves out of this hole. They have still yet to get a break on this offensive line. They've started to generate some turnovers and cause some shaky decisions, but still yet to get a break. And hey, you never know, if they do, that could just be the game changer. Only 5 points down.
Well, we've spoken about it before. Ultimate very much a game of momentum and runs and swings. The Revolution currently looking very calm on this offensive point. It's nicely swinging it round the back. Cartagena finds Cardenas in the middle of the field. Ospina again attacking the middle, very nice. And now taking their time, being patient. Torres up to us. That's Frey. Torres will center it. And Cartagena, Ospina. Cartagena streaking towards the front corner, but undercover, and that's a beautiful break across the field into the hands of Frey.
Yeah, and that's not the first time we've seen Cartagena get the disc centered back in the middle, immediately looks to the break side of the field to find Frey. And the thing I really like about that is she gets the disc out of her hands so quickly, Hannah.
She does indeed. A great distributor. Lovely low backhand release. Pops up into the hands of Frey. And that is Revolution's O-line at their best, but I did like to see Mud making some defensive adjustments and slowing things down. Like we said at the beginning of the game, they were just running away with it. Almost looked like Mud just weren't really taking anything away. But in that point, they definitely had to think about it. They made them throw a lot of passes. Maybe, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're starting to also take away some key players on the field. Like, we haven't heard Manuela Cardenas' name a ton in this second half. They're shutting her down, so they're taking away some of the threats. They're starting to figure it out. Just need to get a chance to generate that turn still.
And chances will not come very often from the hands of Revolution. Still just at that, well, one unforced error of the O-line. Although I did enjoy seeing Valderrama with the disc popping off of her face. I like to call that the toast because it pops into your hands and then immediately back out of them from having contact with your body. Like a piece of toast in the morning. And so, Mud, not attacking the pool, but getting things underway nice and quickly. Good faking from the handlers. And a big put's gonna go up. She does have Suganama, takes it. Good work from this Mud side right now. Good fakes from Suzuki, moving the mark around. Relieving the pressure, lovely inside break. Oh, and that is beautiful offense from Mud.
Yeah, and you have to wonder a little bit, Hannah, where some of this was in the first half. The second half, Mud has not allowed their offensive line to be broken either. A perfect second half so far here for Mud. And if we were counting scores of the second half here, we'd be tied at 4s.
We certainly would. There has been one break in the second half, but a very different look from earlier on this morning. Frustrating for Mud, though, that they couldn't come out charging. But now it seems to be that perhaps earlier on in the game, Revolution really putting their foot on the pedal. They had stifling defense. You know, I remember points from earlier on in this game where just nothing seemed to be happening at all at field for Mud, whereas now they're getting those inside breaks, Becky.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see them start to generate the offense that we know they've wanted to play throughout this game as well. Starting to get some of that chemistry going. I think maybe just starting out a little bit tired, a little bit slow. First morning game of the day. Sometimes it takes teams a second to warm up, and they've really come into their own in the second half. Maybe, unfortunately, just a little too late, Hannah.
Well, we will see. Stranger things have happened in Frisbee matches before. And at the world stage, you never know. It's not over till it's over. I would say it is very heavily in Revolution's favor, but 3 points away from taking this one with 34 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, and I think, Hannah, at this point, Revolution not too concerned with generating another break at this point. They're focused on trading these points. They just want to play the offense that they know how to play, the game that they know how to play, and they have a lot of other things to focus on for the rest of this week still.
Indeed, well, we are still but in pool play, which is fantastic to see these exciting matchups throughout the tournament, which is what you get from a club championships at the international level. But like I say, it will be good to see Mud perhaps finishing second in the pool going into the power pool stages. And by all accounts, they are expected they could well do that. Game to watch out for those following along with the schedule will certainly be Mud facing off against Atletico of Finland, who had a 15-10 game against Revolution. So clearly will be a battle for second spot in Pool E. So disc is going to sail out of bounds. And Revolution will take the central field position of the brick mark in the hands of Torres. We're seeing a zone look here from Becky.
Yeah, this is much different. We haven't seen this at all yet from the Mud defense.
Cartagena swings to Ospina. Seems to be a zone, but a match coverage on Cardenas. But there's plenty of other shirts on the roster as we see some perhaps very hasty offense coming through for the first time for this O-line. But Ospina calmly finds Cardenas. This mud cups causing a little bit of hesitation from the pink-shirted handlers of Revolution. But Ospina and Cartagena working it well. Oh, look at that, Ospina just rinsing through the zone. And that is a lovely score.
Yeah, and maybe that's why we haven't seen the zone luck yet from Mud. Revolution not phased at all by the change of strategy here. Settled in quite quickly. They loved the little give and goes, and they found that break through the cup, found the holes, and then they were off to the races.
Well, talking about getting through a zone defense, that is a beautiful textbook work from Ospina, just running through. And of course, that makes that 13-7 now to Revolution. We'll come back to the action after a short break.
Heat illness strikes kids and adults alike during summer workouts. Watch for muscle cramps, fever, nausea, headache, weakness, or feeling faint. Act fast to get cool and get fluids.
Good morning from Ohio and welcome back to the WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships. We are here bringing you action from Women's Pool E with Mud from Japan on offense against Colombia's Revolution, who are going to pull out of bounds, allowing them an opportunity to set up defense, but obviously central field position at the break mark for Mud's offense. Haven't seen many out-of-bounds pulls from Revolution thus far, Becky. They've been fantastic at getting it into the deep space at the back of the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think having a phenomenal pull and having multiple players who can pull can be quite an underrated thing sometimes on teams, Hannah.
Oh, and talking about things too useful to have, plays like that and bids are great, and Suzuki will put it up into the deep space, and that is perfectly weighted and excellently run down by Saki Suganama.
Yeah, perfect offense there from Mud, working those inside breaks again to that flick huck that they seem to love so much right now, Hannah.
Indeed. Suzuki proving she can receive them and she can throw them. Now seeing distributing, whereas obviously early stages she was having a phenomenal game of running those down. We'll hopefully see that. Look at that bid. No concern for her body whatsoever. Tamura keeping the disc alive.
Yeah, and it's great to see Suzuki do it on both sides of the disc as well. Hannah chases those hucks down, now getting it under on a little inside throw, able to huck it deep as well.
And so that is 13-8 now in this game. Just the one break in the second half. We've been trading most of the way through. It's a shame we couldn't see this form earlier on in the game from Mud. With 29 minutes left, I feel like we might not see this one go to time here, Becky.
No, I think at this point, Revolution should have no problem closing this one out, even if they just settle in and trade these last couple points here, Hannah.
And so as we see the pink shirts streak towards the disc, a little bit of collateral on each other. Cardenas tripping as she goes to pick it up, but easily finding Cartagena. Londoño. Oh, nearly a block there from Mud. But Cardenas used to taking discs under that pressure. Great give goes near sideline, working very effectively. And using the give goes to center. Get that field position. Oh, and just a throw over the shoulder. Miscommunication from the defense. Escobar, easy score.
Yeah, I think Mud, they're trying to do what they've done in the second half here, where they let them swing it across, but those quick give and go motions there from Revolution took away that defensive opportunity for Mud, easily able to get it into the end zone. A lovely little backhand around the mark there for the score.
Torres just throwing over the shoulder of Ogawa, who just looks in dismay behind her. But this offense now from Revolution, these last few points, has been all about the Colombian speed. we saw Ospina trotting through the zone defense of Mud, and then we just saw Cardenas and co just using that movement by virtue of the fact that they can just throw and go all day.
Yeah, they're more than happy to do that. They love the run and follow your pass. That is the offense that this team is built upon, and it's great to see them running it with absolute ease in this game right now. They've been effortless on their offensive line, still yet to be broken.
And that was the form we saw early games, certainly, where the defense just cannot keep up because the attack is relentless. So the first match point in this game now. Revolution's D-line's first opportunity to take the game for 26 minutes left on the clock. Short pull will be picked up by Mud immediately. Deep cuts available. Great coverage of Suzuki, but she's going to go deep. Great finesse and poise. Good mark from the number 21 shirt of Valderrama. But there is a foul call over there on that far side. Very aggressive mark though, clearly trying to shut down the Mud handlers as much as possible. And there were some battles upfield. A little slip on that far sideline. No one cutting for that inside channel that they do love so very much. And a high stall. Oh, what a hero bid. There's going to be a stall out called. Definitely a risky biscuit thrown into traffic.
Yeah, it looks like a discussion here on the stall call too. I think, Hannah, one thing to note is Revolution is doing a great job on their marks. They're not worrying as much about the force against these Japanese women. They obviously are forcing them to the flick side, but they are wrapping around behind to cause those turnovers and to take away any of the reset opportunities as well. Very active marks. You see them shoulder checking a lot to see where the cuts are coming from upfield. I'm very impressed with that defense there as well, Hannah.
Definitely the marks are the credit of this defense right now, but let's talk a little about Izumi Ichamasa taking that dish down and having her defender land directly on top of her. We saw her a few moments ago just brushing her elbow. The two players sort of having a chat about that now. Certainly heavy contact, but all in good faith, as these players will now discuss the the stall out call. And again, game advisor Cici Zhang of New Zealand coming in and helping out with the discussion. So we'll see this one be a revolt. Contested stall is the name of the... This will come now in on 8. So high stall, it's going to be a hammer across the field, and it's going to be batted away very easily. And Revolution, opportunity now to close this one. Put it in the bag. Nice high release backhand over the top of the mark. Deep shot. Player was yelling for it, but unfortunately didn't actually have any separation from the mark, it seems.
Yeah, I think either that throw has to come up a little bit later to know that your player is open, or that player should at that point turn and streak under. They're going to burn for a 30-yard under at that point.
Yeah, she seemed to call for it, but unfortunately not the right decision. But Mud will get the disc back. Generally up that far sideline. Got trapped here before. Oh, and there we go. See that huge pressure from the mark of Revolution. Errant throw, but a foul will be called.
Yeah, not exactly where she wanted that throw to go, so you can tell that there may have been some contact through the motion there.
But excellent work in any case. I think that's Weaver over there on the mark. so Mud back in play. Ooh. Lays it just to keep it safe. Revolution really pushing Mud to use the very edge of their abilities. Those around backhand breaks much harder, not the favoured throw for the Mud offense. That's a lovely little bit of handler movement there to centre the disc back. Moving much smoother now. Oh, and that's some lovely play. Is it going to be a score? Is she going to put up? No. Holsters decides to play conservative, knows that the stakes are high at this point. Bit of gesturing, trying to clear people out of the end zone. Great movement, but no separation in the end zone. And a pick will be called. It's looking very flustered right now, Becky.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It's interesting to see how their handlers seem to be confident with the disc, but the upfield cutters in the end zone, there seems to be a lot of unsure motions of should I cut now, who's cutting next, and it does seem a little bit flustered, a little bit chaotic in the end zone right now for Mud.
Certainly does, and the disc is going to come back in on a relatively high stall. Frey on the mark right now, it looks to be. Oh, sorry, the hair in the way. I think that's... Flores on the mark. And they've been doing such a good job marking up with these Mud handlers. Inside comes through, and there we find the shot into the hands of Shimada.
Yeah, I think that's a situation too where sometimes that pip call gives a chance for the Mud offenders there to just say, hey, this is your cut, we're going to do this, and they executed that perfectly.
And so, score now sitting 14-9. To keep this game alive, Becky, Mud are going to have to find something magical to get a break for the first time in this game on Revolution's O-line.
Yeah, I'm not sure how easily done that is going to be. The first break of the game coming on game point, double game point now here for Revolution. And we're seeing them put out one of their top lines as well here, not holding anything back. They just want to close this game out, Hannah.
Well, you certainly cannot blame them for wanting to finish this one now. Still in pool play, plenty of matches ahead for both of these teams. Certainly lots of lessons for Mud in terms of just playing with a bit more confidence, really. Coming out, believing in each other, believing in themselves, which is what we've seen in this second half. Just the one break Revolution has had. Perhaps they've been resting on the laurels of that 5-point buffer they took from the first half. But either way, going to see the O-line come out once more and see if they can put this one to bed. Cardenas is going to field the pull. Ospina centers it. Very isolated Cartagena. Not sure it's a wise idea, but there seems to be a bit of a tumble on the field from Minagishi. And there we are, the pick call. No wonder Cartagena was so free. Not a player you want to not have a mark on at any stage in the game.
Absolutely not, Hannah. She will punish you every single time you leave her open on this field.
And so back in play. Lovely around break from Escobar. Cartagena and Ospina. Center to Cardenas, and she's going to pop it up into space for Cartagena. What a grab to finish the game. 15 to Revolution, 9 to Mud. Becky, how about that?
What an incredible game from Revolution. You have to give their offensive line all of the credit for this game. Unbroken, 100% perfect throughout this match, and what a great finish. Cartagena extending to grab that, thought she was going to have to lay out, but her speed carrying her through to that disc.
Yes, a fantastic way to finish for the offensive line of Revolution. We mentioned it earlier, but the game to watch from this pool is going to definitely be Atletico versus Mud. obviously having posted a 15-10 scoreline against Revolution Atletico. So going to be tight for the second spot in this pool. But we're going to have a look at some of the highlights now of this match. Excellent spirit throughout. Lots of discussions in this match, but really great spirit from both sides, Becky.
Yeah, absolutely. And see the absolutely wonderful grab here from Shiori Ogawa. Wonderful job of reading the disc. Michelle Phillips just tripping there.
But Revolution's offense has been fantastic. Here's the D-line. Mosqueda getting big with double coverage. And look at the sink on that disc to Phillips. Absolute beauty.
And Torres now here as well. This was the little inside-out backhand where her teammate there scooping it up with the garbage collection there. Look at the laughter on the smile.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
So there we have it, 59 to Revolution of Colombia. What a game we've had, Becky.
Yeah, an incredible game here, Hannah. The Revolution offensive line unbroken. Japanese able to figure out their game in the second half here. A much better second half from them. They were shutting down the defensive unit here, was only allowing them to swing across the end zone. Unfortunately, Revolution happy to be patient, happy to just work it in. What an incredible game. It's going to be interesting to see Mud versus Atletico later today for the second place in this pool as well.
Certainly, and obviously Revolution having done the excellent work of giving themselves that 5-point buffer in the first half. They just were able to sail through that second half with the holds, O-line firing, absolutely beautiful. But I think the end of that highlight package really showed the theme of this game, which has been smiles all round. It's been excellent to see Mud with their heads held high, playing with confidence latter stages of the game, and looking forward to seeing plenty more from both of these teams and the rest of the women's division at this tournament. I've been Hannah Penderbury. It's been a delight to call this match. Becky Thompson joining me here in the booth. It's been a pleasure and a delight. Stick with us for more action coming soon.